Okay, well, back at it. We allowed the players to be off Friday and Saturday, and they came back last night and we practiced. And then we're off today and back at it for Tuesday, Wednesday, and a normal week's preparation for Kansas. So we've had a chance to look at Kansas, and we see a much improved offense. I'm not sure my numbers will be correct, but 150 to 160 yards more per game, rushing the football well, 235-ish a game and 219 and throwing it. So improved in that area, doing some wildcat and some things that we'll have to have a good plan for. Could have won the game last week, and obviously I'm not in their camp and hate to speak for them, but thought they had every chance to win. So other than that, and then being out in Atlanta against Tech, which teams that have been in games with them have realized how difficult it is to slow down the triple option. If you take that game out, they've played well this year and are an improved team. So our preparation will be very important, and staying focused on the task at hand, which we talk about each week, avoid distractions, and giving ourselves an opportunity to play well on Saturday.
Coach, what's the biggest thing you guys accomplished during the bye week?
Well, I thought we had good practices. The enthusiasm was good. And hopefully they were able to rest and kind of recuperate a little bit over the weekend. And I thought we had a good practice last night, getting them all back in town and getting them out there. Usually a slow start, but weather was good and the setting was good last night, so I thought we were able to accomplish some things.
What's your feeling on having a bye week and the week after your offense seemed to get a lot of momentum going in the second half against A&M? Would you have rather had a game and continue that momentum going forward, or did it come at a good time?
Well, it's a good question. You see it both ways. Sometimes momentum's a factor. Sometimes guys need a break, and I don't know that anybody has the answer to that. Hopefully we can start fast and pick up where we left off.
Mike, what did you think of your experience in Bristol on Saturday?
It was a great experience. That campus has changed considerably, even from just being there a couple of years ago. I learned that Reese Davis and Jesse Palmer and John Anderson, who are kind of the captains of the ship, they throw things out to Mark and Coach Holtz and those guys. They're really good at what they do. It's a very structured and organized setting that has a lot of chaos. And it was a great experience to sit there with those guys and watch football for 7 hours and be on the set and on the air and off. And they give them a lot of information through paper. You know, they put things in front of them, and then sometimes they don't get it to them. And Reese and John and Jesse, they just go with it without even having the information. So I was impressed with their knowledge and their ability to handle the producers saying, you know, you're on in 15 seconds. And they count down and you're on for however long, and then you're off and we're going through discussions, and then you're on in 1 minute and 40 seconds. And you have to gather all that information and get ready. So I was very impressed with the knowledge and the way that they could handle what to me was a pressured situation.
Coach, do you see yourself maybe doing that, maybe post-coaching?
I don't know if I'm smart enough to do that. It's all I can do to concentrate on one game, and those guys are looking at 12 games and gathering information and statistics, and they're good at what they do. Again, and obviously they do it every day. But I certainly have a different outlook on them and their ability to handle those matters. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed Coach Holtz. I enjoyed Mark, and obviously I knew Reese and knew Jesse and John Anderson. I've known him for a while, and I really enjoyed being with those guys.
They asked you about the dance moves, the new dance sensation. You said you've done it a couple times before. Then were you surprised that it kind of picked up steam the way it has?
Well, nothing surprises me anymore in social networking. we've done that before. I don't know, 2, maybe 3 years back. The players have always danced. It comes from our chapel service on the night before games. They sing and they dance, and more singing than dancing at that service. But they've won games before, and they've expressed themselves and their enjoyment through dancing around the locker room, which I haven't seen all of the video, but if you look at the first of it, Kai Staley and Hubert and several of them, they started it. And a few years ago, I started dancing with them a little bit, and they get a kick out of it when the coach dances. Now I've had several people text me and about dance lessons and all that. You guys have probably heard, that's it for me. So it'd be like a 7-second lesson. That's my only move. But Coach Holtz and I had a good time with it, talking about it. And it was interesting spending time with him in that he was talking to me throughout the day, and I felt like he was coaching me, which I enjoyed because a very brilliant person. And talked about the relationship between coaches and players and even how it's changed in the latter part of his career and the importance of being able to relate to your players and let them enjoy the experience they have in playing college football and not always grind on them. So kind of reconfirmed some of the things that we do as a staff.
Coach Gundy, was the trip to ESPN difficult for you, and was it something that was kind of a pain, or was it something that kind of refreshed you and was a good off-week activity?
Well, it was a long weekend, but our staff was out Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday recruiting, and I was out Friday and got back Friday night, and then got on a plane Saturday, and then got back Saturday about 2:30 in the morning. So it wasn't refreshing, but it was certainly worth the time and effort. And I felt I was thankful, I guess I should say, that they even invited me to do it. It's hard for me to be away from my family on a free day, but the exposure that not only our football team but the university received from that is priceless. So it was great, and I'd do it again.
Were you able to push the Heisman chances of Brandon and Justin?
I don't know if I was able to say it, but by us being there on an off weekend, and Kevin and Gavin had mentioned this, for them to see the Oklahoma State logo and to show the highlights and talk about our team had to keep them in people's thoughts and their minds on an off weekend.
They've been doing a lot of stuff with OSU anyway. Did you kind of whisper in their ear, maybe there's already a burnt orange network, maybe an orange network for the Cowboys?
Well, I don't know that with a conference realignment, a guy wants to get into that right now. I think everybody's looking for somewhere to land, much less to start that right now. So, but it was a great opportunity for me to listen, for those of you who followed on our conference call this morning, to listen to those 6 or 8 or 10 guys, Todd McShay and Robert Smith and Galloway and some of those other guys that maybe we don't see as much. It was interesting in listening and being in the room with them when all those games are going on and getting their take on college football and getting their take on a certain team or a certain player. And obviously they're like you guys. They study it all the time. And so I thought that was a different twist to hear them talk about it compared to the way we see it as coaches.
I guess the timing of the off week was good in a sense that with the injuries that you guys have, especially with Jonathan Rush on the offensive line, it's given you guys a chance to figure out some things as to who's going to be going in there and what the rotation is going to be.
Well, we've had a couple guys that have worked in some, which gives us a little bit of an advantage. We'll miss Rush now. Russ was a good football player for us, had a lot of experience, and so it's unfortunate that he'll be out for the year. But as they say, it's an opportunity for a young player to step in and contribute to the team, and we have confidence in those guys. Same thing with Devin. Devin was kind of coming into his own. He was a young player that was starting to gain that experience, and he contributed on special teams. So we lose that aspect of our team. And now we have a couple young guys with Larry and Andre that have to step in and contribute, just like Devin had to last season.
It's probably not that long ago that if you lost 2 guys for the season, it's been a lot more serious blow to your team than with the depth that you guys have been able to build up there.
Well, what you're saying is right. It's a serious blow, but because we've been able to work some other players, maybe it doesn't knock us down and we have to get back up. We stumble around a little bit and kind of regain our composure.
Coach, what was the biggest difference between the first half and the second half in the A&M game from the coaching standpoint?
Well, we tackled better on defense. We had 6 or 7 missed tackles, you've heard me say, that probably cost us 150 yards. We started on the 9-yard line, started on the 11, and got out in the midfield, had penalties, and set us in first or second and really long. It was difficult to overcome. And in the second half, we obviously threw the ball more, and then we forced turnovers and gave us a chance to score and get it right back, and a chance to score and get it right back, and then now it becomes a one-score game. And then so for all the coordinators, in my opinion, in college football, when you're ahead by more than 2 scores, the way you call plays on both sides of the ball is different than when the game's within 1 score. Whether it's throwing the ball down the field, more play pass, trying to get chunk plays, or defensively taking more risk and trying to force turnovers on the other team or cause more negative yardage plays. So once we were able to get it within a score, then it put us right back in there to where play calling became a little more of a thought process than it did when it was 2 scores.